Hey, how y'all doing today? Welcome back, Jack, to another episode of the ZolYin podcast where we talk about books, brains, and blockchains. And today we're going to have a quick, short stream right now. Sorry I had some technical difficulties this morning, but we'll have a longer stream tomorrow. But today I just wanted to talk about something because I'm always behind the times when it comes to these kind of news articles, when it comes to things that are pretty newsworthy in my opinion. I'm always behind. Let me see real quick. All right, good. I just want to make sure I had the right article. I don't want to pull the wrong article up. Be like, so this is happening. You're like, wait, that's from 2 years ago. No. I'm always behind when it comes to these kind of specific things, just because everything's happening so fast. I got my own book to take care of. I got a whole bunch of stuff going on. It's you can barely hang in there when it comes to news. But this kind of stuff I always want to highlight because, it's uplifting, it's positive, it's white pilling, as the kids call it. It's not it's not seeped into, this decline of. Decline of what's the term I'm looking for of morality, right? It's not seeped into this depressingness, right? That is spreading around. I just don't advocate for any of that, right? I've always said that, if you don't like the things that are happening around you, pick something that you can achieve and just work towards that, right? If you don't like the marketplace as it is, then and you want something to exist, then be the change you want to see. Okay, I've always talked about that, and that's why my business exists. That's why I'm working on a book right now. I want to be another avenue, right? You got to fork from everything. These people, they created a cesspool, a very bad products that people don't want anymore. It's seeped into this depression. It's seeped into this victimhood stuff. And that's not good for the kids. It's not good for people who are adults in general. Don't even want that content, right? It's not even good for them. So why would you ever buy a product, like a comic book or watch a movie, with your kids that's gonna be seeped into some sort of depressing, philosophical, socio-economical issues, Why would you want to do that? Because they're kids. I mean, you know what I mean? Let them be kids. You ever heard of that term? Let kids be kids? That's something that I noticed. It's pretty common now. You'll see story. I mean, y'all seen the news stories of those superheroes, A Safe Space, and what was the other one called again? I can't remember. And that was pretty normal. You guys think that's not normal, but it's pretty common in the comic book industry. The comic book industry is such a mess. It's an absolute disaster. Used to be a great place. Used to be a really fun place to buy products, talk to people about comics and stuff like that. I vividly remember the early 90s all the way through into the mid 2000s. It was a fun place to be. You learned a lot of cool stuff. We got to meet new artists every day, man. Very cool imagery, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of fun stories. Now it's just a bunch of, it's kind of crazy. I don't know. It's I think what you see behind you, what you see behind me is actually the last of the era, I would say, of good stuff. This is literally the last. The only exception is that comic right there. That one's somewhat, it's just a little woke, but the art's so good, right? It's just you don't even, it's not even a story really. It's just that book is just all art. That's the one exception on my wall. Everything else behind me, pretty good stories. Let me see if the chat is up. No worries. All right, good. Just want to make sure, because you never know. I'm always behind. I look at the chat and I'm like, So let's get into the news story. All right. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Hopefully I don't get rugged. I think it's this one. I got rugged. That's okay. We'll fix that. We'll fix it live. There we go. I think that's correct. Is that correct? Let me just make sure. I think that is correct. Yep, that is the correct one. Because I have like so many tabs, I don't even know what's going on. I just want to make sure I don't pull up an old news story. Because I did that in my last video. Not yesterday's, but the video before that when I was talking about something else. I had to redo the video. Because I pulled up an old article. It's like, that's not the right one. No. So I had to redo the whole thing. Let me find it. Let me find the part that we want to focus on here. Scroll up. There we go. So Eric July. Let's talk about Eric July for a minute. So I was watching Eric July for a pretty long time, I would say, when he was pretty new. Like, he was just a music artist or whatever. And he just started getting into the topic of politics and talking about, geek stuff. And it was a storm of, like, sometimes when you when you follow someone on Twitter or whatever, and you just see all their interactions on your page, it gets toxic, man. I mean, he's just fighting back and forth all these hateful people who are, like, demeaning him and everything, trying to take away his own accomplishments. It's just funny to watch when people, like, you really get to know someone when you get to know the real them, when an influencer who was under the radar, makes it, quote unquote, makes it. And you get to really see what the woke people are really like when you see somebody who's successful, who doesn't believe in the safe stuff that they believe in, and is pretty vocal about it, right? They hate that. You start to see the real truth. I mean, they're dropping N-bombs. It's awful. Like, you see that stuff. I mean, it's pretty hypocritical. Whether you like it or not is absolutely, whether you side with them or you don't side with them, is absolutely hypocritical. It was so eye-opening. I was like, wow, so this is the real reality. And I look at that from a lens of somebody who's trying to make it as well. So I mentally prepared myself to not take them seriously, not to take people who, are on that soapbox seriously. So that's like the history of Eric July, quote unquote, making it in the algorithm, going up step by step. He fights people along the way as he goes up, right? He's having to deal with all these people, trying to take away his accomplishments, right? And he's like, pew, pew, pew. It's pretty bad when you're like somebody, it doesn't matter what background or race or whatever you're in, when people are trying to take away from you your accomplishments, right? When they were so, quote unquote, about you, right? Until they start to see you really succeed, it's eye-opening. It's very interesting. Eric believes in something I believe in as well, which is, if you don't like what you see, be the change you want to be, right? Be the change you want to see. It's about, going out there on your own and just making something, creating something from nothing, right? So you have the comic book industry kind of being this super woke, messed up, environment. And, Eric is like, I'll just make comics that don't have woke stuff in it. So his first comic's going to be it's called Isam. And the comic book industry is kind of what's the term I'm looking for? It's kind of a club, a little club. It's not a real business anymore. It's just not. The big two are a club. They have their own method of making money, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. It's not what you think. It's definitely not what you expect. Let's read this article real quick. Pre-order sales for YouTube commentator Eric D. July, very first comic, Isam #1, rose above all expectations when the first time indie comic book publisher launched his Rippaverse. With plenty of time left, his crowdfunding campaign, overall sales income from July's debut comic series is already approaching 2.5 million. I think it ended with 2.6 million in crowdfunding funds, far exceeding his initial pre-order campaign objective of 100,000 in sales, and doing it in only 1 week. That's likely far more than all of last month's cross at DC sales at DC Comics. I won't play the video here, the audio here, because it's probably gonna freak out on OBS. But we'll just I'll put the link. I'll put the link in the. I already did. I'll put the link in the description there, so you can click on it. July's spectacular officially spectacular officially debut puts the comic book industry on notice and heralds the birth of what Razor Fist has dubbed the Iron Age. I like that, the Iron Age of comics, which which he sees as a harbinger of death of the mainstream comics. It's such an exciting time to be creative. I agree 100%. And Razor Fist, we'll be talking about Razor Fist on another episode. I really like Razor Fist, one of the best content creators out there, one of the oldest content creators, and I mean that as far as like chronologically, maybe not age-wise, but I mean that in chronological. He like really created a really good library of content to like really consume. If you're interested, if you're even remotely interested in like seeing a base take on geek culture, I would recommend checking out his channel. I think it's called Rageaholic now. It used to be called Razor Fist, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. Yeah. Okay, so this is the new age. This is a new era, right? I mean, I think it really started with, was it Ethan Van Sciver who started that, or was it your boy Zach? I don't remember what content creator started the what do you call it, crowdfunding comics. I want to say it was maybe Zach. It might have been Zach with Jawbreakers. I want to say it was Zach, maybe. But it could have been Ethan Van Sciver with whatchamacallit, with what was it called? Man, I forgot already. It's Blood Honey, Cyberfrog Blood Honey, which was pretty good. I enjoyed it. But overall, my point of that is a whole new era. People are creating their own comics. They're creating their own stuff. They said, forget it. We're going to do it ourselves, and we're going to do it better. And they're making good money. They're making a livable wage. Look at, what's his name? I mean, even you got creators who have been in the industry forever who say, you know what, actually, this is actually the better route, who don't even have any, like, political, like, platform, really. Like, they don't have, like, that big political following. They're just using their regular customers, and they're making it no problem. You got Billy Tucci. You have what was his name that he does what was his name? He always does these Lady Death comics, and I can't remember what his name was. Man, I feel bad. I feel terrible because I follow him on I subscribe to his channel, and he has good content. I mean, it's old, but it's good, and I can't remember his name. That's gonna bother me all day. I feel bad. I'm sorry, dude. He's good too. He's good at marketing. He's very good at marketing. But my point is, it's a whole new era. People are not taking it anymore. They're not sitting there. They're not just accepting, like, being demoralized in their own comics. I mean, listen, you had people, imagine buying a comic book and all you see in your comic book is insults of you, who you are, right? If you vote for, whoever, I don't care who you vote for, right? If you vote for one way or the other, your comic is telling you, oh yeah, you're a piece of crap for voting this way or this way. You are a piece of crap because you're a chud, you're this and that, and they would draw like depictions of what they think you are. It's so stereotypical, and to be quite honest, it's racist. I would even say racist. Because, I mean, what do you expect? Like these people have absolutely lost their mind. They're using what I would call, shock tactics. Shock tactics is kind of like, trying to get more press. Like, oh, yeah, that kind of press on their side of the fence, where they're lauded as heroes for doing this kind of content, when really it's killing their own sales because regular people are not buying that stuff. It used to be that, comic sales would make a ton of money off your average comic consumer, average comic buyer, right? The guy who's buying comics from, age, let's say 10 to age, 40, right? Age 50 in some cases, right? Those guys are gone. They're not buying that crap anymore. I mean, for the most part, anyone who can even like look and see, has eyes, they're like, yeah, this is not working out. The only people who are buying their stuff now are speculators, and it's very, very few and far between. And then on top of that, they're making their majority money off of what is called ESG, which is, I believe it's called environmental social governance, which is an old. We won't go into that. We won't go into that. That's a different episode. We'll talk about ESG on a different episode. Basically, they'll go to libraries and say, and libraries will say, we'll make, we'll buy a certain number of your comics if it has these kind of things in it, right? And investors would back it, right? Investors would be like, yeah, we'll back you as a company if you buy this amount of, if you make these types of books with these kind of social issues and blah blah, right? And if you have these kind of characters, this kind of race, this kind of sexual orientation, blah 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 blah, and these comic companies would be like, sure, you got it. And now they make their entire line that. And that's why people are just like, every comic's the same. There's no difference. They're all, woked out, and nobody wants to buy that crap anymore. And that's the reality. That's like the dark reality of it. Let me see if we have any updates to chat real quick. Okay. Hey, Spark55, what's up, bro? Yeah, so that's pretty much what's happening right now. It's kind of embarrassing. I'm going to keep reading the rest of this article. In addition to creating comics, Eric D. July is also a musician, aka Young Rippa, who performs as a metalcore vocalist and is the lead singer of Backwards. He's also a YouTube star known as Young Rippa 59, where he frequently discusses politics, pop culture, and regularly criticizes what he calls wokeness and tokenism. Yeah, tokenism is a big one. Yeah, tokenism in entertainment, particularly the comics industry, where he's noticed more and more identity politics at outlets like Marvel and DC and other comic book publishers. While he regularly praises comics he enjoys, he gives no quarter to comics he feels are poorly done or that ignore established canon, which he considers a primary importance of long-term success of any comics universe. That's true. If someone's like reading like the continuity of your storyline, and you just ignore the continuity of like 30 years, people are gonna be less likely to keep buying your book. I mean, what's the point? You know what I mean? There's like a exclusivity to reading a book. I mean, think about it this way: if you're reading a book series, like, it's always funny. Take it the other way around. Turn it the other way around. Let's say you're reading let's say Harry Potter is a book that people love or whatever, and all of a sudden Harry Potter comes back from summer, and all of a sudden he's Arab. It would just be weird. People would be like, what's going on? What happened? You know what I mean? People would just be like, this isn't normal. Or Harry Potter was replaced by, I don't know, somebody from a different gender or something, somebody from a different orientation, non-binary Harry Potter, just all of a sudden replaced. Oh, I'm the guy I have the mantle now. I'm the boy with the lightning, scar on my face or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, that would end horribly. You would just no sales. The next book sales drop off. Oh man, that would be canceled in a heartbeat. But you get what I'm saying. That's the reality. That's what's happening in the comic books. People, naturally will walk away from something that they just deem as, an insult to them. Let me see. I'm not gonna read the whole article because we got things to do. But I just wanted to make sure I established the basics here. Here's the part I want to read. This is very important. In recent years, legacy publishers like Marvel Comics and DC Comics have taken a leftward turn that has alienated some readers. Controversies, more than just some readers, controversies over sudden and dramatic changes to long-standing characters, like making Batman's sidekick Robin bisexual. Is that really true? Oh my god. Have divided the fan base, with some embracing the push for diversity and others lamenting that good storytelling has been undermined by woke industry activists. July, a content creator, musician, and lifelong Marvel fan, is among those who do not like the direction the industry has taken between changing all these characters, and you have this ridiculous kind of push for social justice, insulting the audience and all of that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the solution to the problem, July told The Blaze in an interview. Oh, man. It's really crazy that's where we are. And this is the part I want to emphasize, a parallel economy. July thinks this is a success, that his success demonstrates how comic book fans have prepared to support a parallel economy that will challenge the industry's old guard. And with the support of thousands of fans, July also wants to use his comics to tell good stories in order to avoid the excesses of other confusing comic storylines. July says that the Ripper versus Code of Ethics will first and foremost respect the consumer. For the consumer, he also says his comic publishing endeavor shall keep reboots to a minimum and better let fans easily understand the Ripper versus stories. Yeah, I think that's very important to remember, is that term, parallel economy. I think that has to be the future for everything. I think parallel economy is going to become the number one way to beat the system as it stands. I don't know if a parallel economy is possible for everything, like housing. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. We've talked about parallel economy before in terms of the crypto marketplace, but I think it's important to kind of keep that in mind, that term for other things. It doesn't have to just be about money. It has to also be about like goods, right? You have a grocery store that's not some sort of like part of this, for example, when the whole wax happened, the whole wax drama happened, the wax war, as I call it, happened. It would have been a great time to open a grocery store at that time and be like, hey, we're a grocery store. We don't care about any of this stuff. Now, obviously, you're going to get problems with, what do you call it? What are those guys called? The regulators and the police. But that's why you have to move, right? You have to be in an environment that's, not so oligarchy dystopian, right? You pretty much have to just say, hey, I'm building a business that doesn't care about this stuff. You tell the people in that culture, wherever community you're in, and say, hey, I'm not going to be about this. If you want to follow me, or if you want a place that won't have this problem, I'm going to this place that's going to be a lot more, right-leaning and a lot more independent-leaning, a lot more, maybe libertarian-leaning, whatever. But we're not going to be sitting here and, putting our money into an economy that's basically doesn't care about our own freedom. If you don't, you have to care about yourself enough to leave, right? You have to. It's just a reality. Let me go ahead and switch back. I'll take the whatchamacallit. Scroll down. Chat cover off. What is up? Oh shit, you got, pardon my French. You got 89 and Spark 55. What's up, y'all? Esam, yeah, Esam. I'm telling you, man, the parallel economy is the future for everything, pretty much. I mean, my head's all wrong. You have to, because these people, they're parasites. They rely upon your income. That's how they survive. That's how all these people on the left who do all these, parasitic, iron-fisted, oligarchy things. That's what they do. That's who they are. All this stuff that's draconian laws to keep you down, to take your freedoms away. They rely on your income to do that. Taxes. They rely on all that stuff. Spark 55 says, BlackRock really out for everything. Yeah, it's true. BlackRock is out for everything, but you have to remember this. Keep this in mind, right? Yeah, they are. That is true, but you can't let that black pill you. That doesn't mean you can't have like a local economy that's actually good for you, your immediate freedom. Like BlackRock can only really hurt the macro level when they can only hurt the macro level when you are like reliant upon the macro level. Like if you doing things like in your local community that are self-sufficient, you should be fine. Like that means also including if you really want to go out there, really far out there, there's homesteading. There's lots of ways, lots of videos on that. There's whole channels on that. If you really want to do that, that's definitely a route to take. I don't think that's for everybody, right? Everyone's going to be different. What's your level of investment? What you're willing to do? That's dependent on you. BlackRock, it's all about more of a macro of the old, right? So we're trying to work towards the little stuff. It's baby steps. You got to start from somewhere. So you have a small, marketplace, and then eventually you build your way up to maybe district level. Then maybe you build your way up to a more state level. You're pushing people out who don't belong in your community, who don't want to participate. That's fine. You can go. You don't believe in the same things we believe in. It's no big deal. No hard feelings. There's 49 other states. There's 49 of the states, God bless you, right? It's not a right. In my opinion, it's just not a right. If you want to be in the state, think about it. Every state has laws. If you don't want to participate in the state's laws and comply with like the actual like local municipality or whatever, you can go anywhere else. There's other places. No one's stopping you, right? So I'm always about like finding a place, build it up, keep it strong, keep people who are not compliant with the community that you created, that you built, out. It's just very simple, and I really truly believe in not having that level, like not having crazy people come in and ruin your economy, ruin your people, ruin your business, ruin your place. That's why I say don't take your kids to school, don't take them to the colleges, take them, do homeschooling, right? If they're going to college, STEM only, and very carefully pick the college you want them to go to. I still recommend trades. I still recommend, homeschooling up until the trades. They're going to make a ton. Now it's like, it's flipped. Now you can make six figures and not even deal with college. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful future, in a way. Kind of wish I knew ahead of time that it was going to be like that. I was taught the other way around, go to school and get into debt and all that stuff. So anyways, that's it for today. I'll talk more about this in the future. I want to do, I might make this into a feature. We just talk about geek stuff and all that stuff and how it's all falling apart. Not like doom and gloom kind of thing, because I truly don't believe in that, but more so focusing on like the stuff that's out there that's doing their own thing. People are making their own stuff, promoting that stuff. I think it would be fun to do and talk about that stuff. More uplifting things, man. This channel is always about uplifting, positive, things that are going on, right? As opposed to like doom and gloom. That's why I kind of pulled back on Katana, because it is doom and gloom. Katana is pretty doom and gloom. It used to be called Wax Watch, and I said, nah, I don't want to do that anymore. That's a terrible taste, puts a bad taste in your mouth. Anyways, that's it for now. You guys have a great day. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. I'll probably do a show. I'll do a show tomorrow. No, we'll do a show. Let's do a show Sunday. We'll do a show Sunday morning. How about that? Hey, ZolYin, what's up, bro? I'm just ending the show. Sorry. It's Spark 55, 89, and ZolYin, you guys have a great day. God bless you. May you have a wonderful Friday.